we're going to dive into some practical application of the major scale. We talked a little bit, well, we talked a lot about the C major scale before. I showed you the C major scale all over your neck, showed you different ways to practice the major scale, but once you've learned the major scale, you know, what do you do with it? That's the important thing. Now, in a perfect world, I guess we would learn all the theory in the world before, you know, and then we would then know how to apply it to every musical situation. We'd learn every chord and every arpeggio and every blah, 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 blah. But the fact is, you'd just be bored to tears if you did that. And you know, I like to get people playing as quickly as possible to give them stuff that they can apply. Sometimes in order to do that, you kind of have to skip a couple steps. But, you know, I figure that if people start playing their instruments, they're gonna kind of fill in the gaps on their own. And, you know, we'll go back and we'll figure out all the, you know, the theory and stuff. But for right now, we're going to kind of jump ahead and start to apply some stuff. We're going to work with this tune, Get Lucky, Grammy-winning tune. It's a great tune. Nathan East played bass on it. And this tune, it's all in the key of, it's all going to fit in the key of A major. So we've been working in the key of C major, but check this out. If you learn C major, you know, all over your instrument, all you have to do is drop it 2, 3 half steps, drop every position 3 half steps, and you're in the key of A major. All right? So it's time to learn a new scale. Just take that C major scale and drop it down 3 half steps, and you'll be in A major. Everything in this tune is going to fit into A major. The notes in the key of A major are A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and A. The chords in this tune, Get Lucky, there's 4 chords. The whole song's only 4 chords. B minor, D, F sharp minor, and E major. And I'll tell you, just take my word for it, that all the notes in all of those chords are all in the key of A major. As a side note, I'll tell you that there's an additional detail. The song is really in a mode of A major, but called, you know, B Dorian. But don't worry about that. For right now, we're just going to assume this key is in A major because that'll all work. All the notes in the key of A major will work. So here's the lesson. We're going to talk about 3 things. We're going to talk about rule number 1 as a bass player. And then we're going to talk about 2 different ways that you can fill up the spaces to play some cool licks and riffs and fills and stuff that you want to be doing. The rest of the people in the band might not want you to do them, but you as a bass player are going to want to do them. Okay, so rule number 1. Play the root of the chord on 1. And there's a great video by Bootsy Collins where he talks about this. You just Google Bootsy Collins, the 1, and you'll see it, and he puts it better than I ever could. But the idea is, as the chords go by, the first chord in this tune is B minor. On the downbeat of the bar, where B minor is played, you want to play B, okay? The rest of the bar is yours, but you got to make sure that you're playing B on 1. The next chord in the tune is D. You got to play D on 1. Next chord in the tune is F sharp minor. You got to play F sharp on 1. Next chord in the tune is E major. You got to play E natural on 1. Now I'm just going to play that, okay? I'll probably play 2 notes per bar. That's a perfectly good, perfectly funky bass line. That'll make people move. And you know, you don't really need that much more than that. But of course, you're going to want to do more than that. You know, there are going to be spaces that you're going to fill. And so the question becomes, well, what do I do with the rest of the bar? Once I've done my job, played the root of the chord on 1, I have this space. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. What do I do with 2, 3, and 4? You know, how do I play fills and stuff and licks and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so there are 2 things that you can do. Well, there are lots of things you can do, but there are 2 things I'm going to talk about. One is, this whole song is in the key of A major. A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. Okay? The rest of the bar, for that entire tune, no matter what the chord is, B minor, D, F sharp minor, E, because those are all in the key of A, you can play any note in the key of A. Any note in the key of A. You don't even need to even really think about it. They're all going to work. They're all going to work great. I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm going to just almost play notes at random in the key of A. I'm going to hit the root on one, and then I'm just going to, just without even thinking about it, just kind of play some notes in the middle. I sound like a bass player all of a sudden, you know? I hit the root of the chord on one, and then in the middle, I just played, you know, kind of any note in the key of A major. I wasn't really even thinking about what I was doing all that much, and it sounded reasonably good. Okay, so that's one. That is called playing, and this is an important term to know, that's called playing diatonically. Diatonically, the simple explanation is diatonically just means in the key. Diatonic means in the key. In that case, I was playing diatonically. The song's in the key of A, I'm playing in the key of A. There's nothing outside the key of A. There are no funky dissonant notes in other keys. I'm just playing diatonically. So now, let's talk about our other option, which is to play some non-diatonic notes. Some notes that are outside of the key of A. Okay, so this is how we do that. And this is a long, fancy term. Non-diatonic chromatic passing tones. Okay, I know that's a mouthful. Let's take the first part. Non-diatonic just means not in the key. Chromatic, take the last part. Chromatic, just every note in a row. I'm playing every single note. That's the chromatic scale. The term passing tone is, it's used to pass from one place to the next. It's used to get as a pivot point to get from usually a good diatonic note to another good diatonic note. I hate the term good and bad in music. I'd rather say consonant or dissonant. So from one consonant note to another consonant note. So this is what I mean. You'll hear what I'm talking about as soon as I do it. I'm going to get from the B to the D. Now I can play diatonically and just play notes in the key of A major. Or I can put this one extra C natural in here. Okay? I played every note in between B and D. I played chromatically, and I used a non-diatonic passing tone in there. Let me show you what that sounds like. Okay, so we've got three concepts that we've talked about. One is that your job as a bass player is to hit the root of the chord on one. Then, in the middle, on beats 2, 3, and 4, you can do, well, you could do lots of things, but we've talked about two things that you can do. One is that you can play diatonically. You can fill that space by playing in the key that the chord progression is in. If you're in the key of A, you can just play notes that are just in the key of A. The other thing that you can do is that you can play, you can incorporate non-diatonic chromatic passing tones. You can connect those chords, you know, with chromatic lines. Hit the root of the chord on one, fill the space by playing diatonically in the key, or fill the space by playing chromatic passing tones. So that's it for this lesson. Till next time.